If you scroll down to the bottom, I want you to realize that you can see that the information here indicates that we have a lot of data, and of course that the connection is closed. Now, one of the experiments that we did in class was, at least in one of my classes, we did something like this. We said int a is equal to 4 divided by 0. Now, by doing that, let's run it just to show you what happens. Notice what happens here. I have an exception. That exception happens, but the connection, we don't see the symbol. We don't see any indicator that the connection was closed. So this could be a problem, meaning that if you're running some data, or you're running some sort of logic, and something causes to throw an exception, what happens to the resource? In this case, the resource was not closed. So we need to actually put this in a try-catch resource block. The way you do that is we're going to type in try, curly brackets here. I'm then going to put all that code, Control X here, let me throw an exception here. I'm going to say here catch exception. Oh, got to give it a variable name. And we're going to say here print stack trace. Let's run this again to see if we see any difference. If I do a run, okay, notice that the connection is still closed. What's happening here is that in this try-catch resource, this particular class is following a certain interface. That interface is, I think it's called closable. If I do open declaration here, and here's some definition about it, notice what it does. It implements this method here called closable. So therefore, since it follows that method signature, or that it follows that contract of that interface, it will close automatically when I use it with the try-catch resource block. And you see that it's happening here. Notice that this time it closed even though we had an exception in the middle. And let's do another example. Let's do actually our own custom example just to see it work. So what I want to do is in my class here, let me see here, where did I put my driver? My driver is right there. I'm going to create a class called water. Okay, and just think about when we're drinking water, we open up a resource and of course we need to close it. I wanted to implement Java IO closable. When I implement this interface, I'm forced to use this method called close. And what I want to show you is I'm going to do a sys out. The water resource is closed, and let's do a default constructor here where we say water, and I'm going to say here sys out water is turned on. Okay, let's use that in our driver. And what I'm going to do here is the same thing we did before. Let me just do it here. I'll say water is equal to new water. And then down here, I'm going to say water close. Run that. And I got a lot of data here. I want to just limit the data so we don't see too much stuff here. I think I can do it here, dot, okay, so then it's not there, dot limit. I'm going to limit to 5 rows for now. Save it, run this data. Okay, so notice that water's turned on. Okay, my connection is still closed, but notice that I never got a chance to come here to turn off the water. Remember, water follows the same interface as Mongo client, but I'm not using it correctly. If I do Control X, I have to put that logic or the instantiation of the class within these parentheses. So after this semicolon, I'll do Control V, save it. Now the water should get turned off. If I run the Java application again, let's see, water resource is closed. Perfect, we turned it on, got our data, the exception happened, but we still closed the water. And same thing here, the connection got closed. So if you wondered, this is not really needed. And of course, we don't want this exception to happen. That was just to prove a point. Let's save this, run this code, and the water resource is closed, the connection is closed. Alright, so that's our introduction to try-catch resource. I hope that was meaningful for you. With that, good luck and good coding.